Well, look what the scruffy cat dragged in. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, I am just as surprised as y'all. I am making another video talking about Pokemon, which is very strange because I could have sworn, correct me if I'm wrong, in the last video I made talking about Pokemon, that would be the final video I make talking about Pokemon, because if anybody knows me, they would know that I don't really do too many videos talking about Pokemon. Yet here we are in the year 2019, and good golly, Miss Molly, Jesus, Mary, and Joseph, that Sonic redesign is rad as hell. He is definitely a wholesome blue boy. The shit has hit the fan when it comes about Pokemon yet again. On this, the eve before the launch of Pokemon Sword and Shield, suddenly, niggas go crazy. And that's what we're going to talk about today, ladies and gentlemen. Now, the last time that I discussed this, I think I said something along the lines of, whether or not you are for this game or against this game, at the end of the day, you're going to do what you're going to do because you are a grown-ass person. You've got your own disposable income. So if you want to support the game and say you want more of this, by all means, more power to you. Likewise, if you are against the title, you should vote with your wallet and say no. And I kind of leaned more heavily towards the people who are going to go out there, trash the game online, and yet still show up day one to buy the game. Because y'all, you keep doing this. It keeps happening. And we know it keeps happening because this franchise keeps breaking records. The only thing I got to say to y'all is, send in the clowns. That's basically the gist of it. And here we are, and yeah, a lot of the things that we were kind of worried about when it came down to Sword and Shield, more from a technical aspect in terms of the performance, in terms of the animations, in terms of a lot of the things as far as like the game, just a lot of things that went into the game development and things that are going to be excluded and the stuff that people said, no, it's just rumors. Wait until the actual game comes out. And oh boy, the game is now out and we see what's happening. Yeah. It's not looking good. It is not looking good. It's a tough time for the Pokemon fans. That's all I'll say. And one thing we've noticed is that in this past week, we've got two separate hashtags going on. We've got Thank You Gamefreak, which is essentially people out here wanting to praise and highlight the Gamefreak developers for all the work they've put onto the franchise. While on the opposite end of the spectrum, we've got Gamefreak Lied, who's pointing out all the, the points and the hypocrisy that comes down to this company over the past couple of years. It's insane. It's just like civil war happening right now on the week of Pokemon, which is mind-boggling when you think about it. And a lot of people are asking me, hey man, you stayed of neutral party and all this. Where do you line up? Where do you stand in this war between, anti-Game Freak and pro-Game Freak? Where do you line up in this battlefield? Like, who are you going to go to arms for? And the answer to that is I'm going to redirect you guys to the video I made a few months back where I said, go out there and do whatever you want to do, to quote the Hodge twins. Because at the end of the day, all this complaining on the internet, all this discourse that's happening, while it is fun, it's not going to change anything if the game still sells. More often than not, outrage on the internet really doesn't do much. Well, actually, no, that's a lie, because we actually chained a whole redesign of Sonic for the upcoming movie, so I should probably edit that out of the video. But anyways, that being said, while I don't have a dog in this fight, people are going to do whatever they want to do. I want to take some time to really highlight this I don't know what to call it. Something I've been noticing happening a lot here recently, in the past couple of years especially. And it's not exclusive to the Pokemon Sword and Shield controversy. It isn't, because it happens in all forms of entertainment. This whole notion that if you ever dare criticize something, and since we're talking about gaming, we'll keep it on gaming. If you dare criticize something in any form of capacity whatsoever, you are a self-entitled crybaby. You are a man-child who does not understand game development, who does not understand that these are actual people working on these games. These people have wives and dogs and sisters and mothers and brothers, and they want to prosper and succeed, and you just coming on the internet and leaving all these nasty comments is going to ruin their day, and they're going to delete their Twitter accounts. Like, all you people out there who are ever like leveling criticisms whatsoever towards anything else, if you are not the shred of positivity, if you are not a beacon of hope and optimism out here, then you are an ungrateful man baby. An ungrateful man baby. And to those people out there, this whole fake everything is great, everything is awesome, everything is cool when you're part of a team type of movement that's going around, grow the hell up. I don't know if it was because you were excluded from being picked first in gym class, or if you think that your friends cracking jokes at you is bullying. I don't know what it is that's prompted you guys to think that if anyone ever levels any type of criticism towards something whatsoever, that means that they are negative and toxic. Welcome to the world, because no one out there is ever going to have the exact same opinion as you. No one out there is going to be overtly 100% positive about something. There is this thing in life called discourse, and we all engage in it. That is a part of life. That is fine. But for you to go out there and assume that any type of criticism whatsoever towards something is someone being whiny and childish and complaining like no tomorrow and it doesn't matter at the end of the day, you are the type of people who literally do nothing but live in a little bubble, a little echo chamber of positivity, and if anything just does not adhere to your world vision, you view that as, oh, they're being mean to me, I can't believe it. Grow up, because the real world is not like that. It isn't. Maybe on Twitter, where you can post all these things for retweets and follows and all this stuff, but the real world isn't like that. People don't function like that. And that's perfectly fine. I'm never going to sit here and tell somebody that they can't complain about something. Oh, they can. Sure. And like an astute individual, I'm going to come out here and challenge their viewpoints on certain things, because that's a part of life. And that's what we do. But to block off a group of people just because they've leveled very valid criticisms and complaints towards something, that just because they didn't play the game, just because they don't have access to the game. And this is another thing that I really want to talk about here. The people out here who are doing nothing but being pro-positive towards any type of thing a company puts out in fear of losing access for something. Look, guys, I've been on YouTube for 11 years now. Okay? I've seen it all. I've seen channels come and I've seen channels go. People who have had way more subscribers than me, who have way more video views than me, fizzle out within 3 years. Because they never kept it real with their audience. They were always chasing something else. Newsflash, you don't have to be positive about every single thing out there a company puts out. And if that's going to cost you coverage, where you just think, like, you come out here and you just say something negative and that's not cool, and maybe, you know, people have a dissenting opinion about something and we should encourage that, maybe you guys need to find something to stand for. Because if you don't stand for something, you're going to fall for anything. And the fact that we are drawing the line here when it comes to Pokemon Sword and Shield, when a lot of you same people are going to criticize all these other games like Mass Effect Andromeda, Crackdown 3, every other game out there for some of the same problems that Sword and Shield having, yet we're giving Gamefreak a pass. This needs to be discussed. This is how games can get better. Now, I'm not saying that this is how games will get better. This is how it has the potential to get better. And if you are someone who's perfectly fine with it, if you're fine with all this stuff and you like what you see in Sword and Shield, like I said before, more power to you. Go out and support the game. But I'm not going to sit here and alienate half the audience just because they find problems with it. Because that's not fair to them, because they're just as big as Pokemon fans as you guys are. But the fact that they're not 100% positive about it, that somehow means that they're wrong and toxic, and you're going to lump them all together with this hate campaign. What is so different about Gamefreak Lied, where they point out all the problems with the game, versus Thank You Gamefreak? They're both the same thing at the end of the day. One is just overtly positive. But you want to know what the thing is? Being overtly positive to the point where you're at this level where everything is great, it's awesome, it's wow, makes you look senile. Just like people who are overtly negative about something makes you look pessimistic as fuck. I would think that people would understand and not just be on this moral high horse of, oh, you know, just because I don't criticize something, that makes me great or cool. That's no different than the people who see something that looks really great and they're just like, oh, I'm going to criticize it just for the sake of. It's the exact same thing at the end of the day. So let people be people and let them criticize. Now, that being said, whew, this does not look good, man. This does not look good. I've been reading a lot of stuff that's come out about the game from people, and yikes. This is looking like the most unimpressive Pokemon title to date, which is insane considering it's on the Switch. It's on the Switch, and we have all these groundbreaking games, and here we have Pokemon. It's just another disappointing game that's still getting good reviews, and it's still going to sell copies because we got some clowns out here who go out and support it regardless. And I'm not talking about the people who like the game and they want to play it. More power to you. I'm talking about the people who hate it and trash it and they're still there to buy it day one. I'm talking about y'all. Gamefreak in general, I've heard them come out and say that the morale is overall low with the company. And I know the thank you Gamefreak side is going to say, oh, well, that's because of all the people whining and complaining online. Really? Really? It's from the people who were complaining online recently. You know, it couldn't be the fact that Gamefreak has, been working on like 16 different Pokemon games in the span of a month, how it's basically become an annual franchise, how they're beholden to make sure that they launch this game to tie it in with the anime and all these other promotions that they got going on. Instead of doing the smart thing business-wise and expanding the company for the betterment of the franchise. No, they just keep the same pool of people, just keep the management the same. Just gonna put out the same thing, and we're just gonna complain that, we had to cut it due to time constraints and restrictions. You are the most profitable franchise in all of entertainment, and you're complaining about time restrictions? Where are these multiple teams working on these projects? Like, I'm talking about multiple teams, like hundreds of people, the Pokemon franchise. Yeah, you look at this and you would think like it's 6 dudes working on it. I'm just being real, I'm just being honest. Like, Ubisoft has hundreds of people working on the Assassin's Creed franchise. Call of Duty has hundreds of people working on that franchise. They have multiple teams working on different games, so they come out in an annual fashion. And people like to poke fun at Call of Duty and Assassin's Creed, saying, oh, the same game every single year. Well, Pokemon's the same game every single year. It is. But the thing is, those Call of Duty games and those Assassin's Creed games always have differences in them that make them kind of interesting and unique. If you're playing something like Assassin's Creed Syndicate and you go to something like Assassin's Creed Odyssey, two very different games. But with Pokemon, it's like, no, not at all. Likewise, if you're playing something like Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, and then you go to something like Call of Duty Black Ops 4, very different games. Very different games. And that's not just because they're separated by X amount of years. Why can't we have that for Game Freak? Why can't Game Freak have all the time in the world to work on these games? I know people are going to say, oh, it's the Pokemon Company and all this stuff, blah, 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 blah. There's blame all around. Pokemon Company, creatures, Game Freak, Nintendo, blame all around. And it's not cool because Pokemon deserves so much better. And this is the only time I'm going to slight at the people who like the game and they want to support it, yada, yada, yada. Look inside yourself. Why are you playing this game? It's because you love Pokemon, right? Are you willing to excuse and forgive a lot of the stuff that's happening in Sword and Shield just because it's Pokemon? You have to ask yourself that. If you love Pokemon so much, that's fine. But on some level, you got to realize, like, we could be getting so much more. And we've gotten so much more with other franchises, not just Pokemon or Pokemon-like games, but other series. Pokemon deserves A+ treatment. And even if you like Sword and Shield, it's not getting A+ treatment. It isn't. That's the only time I'm going to say something to someone who's going to support the game because they love it. That's the only thing I'll ever say. Yes, your fun is going to be subjective and what have you. But come on, like, can we just, like, be realistic? Like, can we just sit down and be like, nigga. Come on. Like, seriously. No animations here. Oh, how does Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth on the Vita have more animations than a Pokemon game made from the ground up for a console in 2019? To quote Hard 8 times, that shit's funny to me. Anyways, from me to you for now, my name is NGS signing out. I'm about to go back and play The Witcher 3 or Judgment, one of the two, I don't know. Don't buy this game if you don't think it looks good. Buy this game if you think it looks good. Eat, drink, and be merry. My name is NGS signing out. Catch you guys later. Peace out.